Any big controversy to get into, so little time. Sources are telling Fox News now that Nellie Ohr is refusing to voluntarily appear before a House Judiciary Committee that's looking into the FBI's handling of the whole Russian probe. Now, she's married to FBI official Bruce Ohr, another key figure under scrutiny. Here to sort all of this out, where we stand with this craziness, because that's what it seems to be, the House Judiciary Committee member, Georgia Republican Congressman Doug Collins. Congressman, good to have you.
No, it's good to be here.
Where does this stand? She says she doesn't want to testify, blah, blah, blah. What happens?
Well, I think at this point we're going to have to press the issue, and they'll probably issue a subpoena. The thing that's concerning here, Neil, is this is something that's been going on. They've had many times to talk about what they wanted to talk about, if they wanted to testify, how they wanted to testify. It is becoming more and more apparent that there's just issues that they don't want to talk about, because I believe that as we find out more and more, there was this an opinion that they had a better opinion of what they thought the president should be and how they could control what's going on. And that's becoming concerning.
What's the focus on these guys for? That there was a distinct bias and they, what?
The bias, and that they were using this information, the dossier, they were taking this out. There was not being candid on who they were getting their funding from and how that dossier came about. And then how it was all of a sudden continually getting back into the highest levels of the FBI without anybody giving scrutiny, which ended up with the FISA applications.
But would they have the wherewithal, or even the smarts, as some have cynically said, to have orchestrated all that?
Well, when you look at it, that's becoming the issue. Peter Strzok, it's not just one. If this was one off and you had one person, but it is becoming a coordinated effort. When you look from Comey to Strzok to Ohr to Nellie to just the whole issue here that we look at, that's becoming the problem. And when you see that kind of coordination, you see the text with Lisa Page, you see these, we're trying to get this out. You really have a movement in there that says we're going to be political instead of the Department of Justice. We're going to take out a president we don't like.
Well, you know, Congressman, the rap from Democrats is that's what you're doing, and that's what the Republicans are doing to try to sort of sour a report before it comes out by questioning the means by which it was gathered.
Well, I think the Democrats really need to take a step back and ask themselves a question. Why would they let the president that they admired so much, President Obama, let their Justice Department become so political? The Justice Department was never supposed to be political. Eric Holder was nothing but a political hack. So was his predecessor, his successor. When you let the Justice Department become at the top, so political that they're biased in elections and everything else, it then trickles down. The men and women of the Department of Justice who do the job every day are great heroes of our country, but they were let down. And the Democrats ought to be honest in themselves and say, we don't want a Department of Justice like this, but they're letting this go by because they like the previous administration.
There are a lot of people who are looking at the Mueller probe, Congressman, and saying it appears to be in the fourth quarter or the ninth inning, whatever sport analogy you want to use, because things are quickly, apparently coming together. Do you get that feeling?
Well, I think what they're apparently coming together on is all these other issues besides what I would say that they need to, that they said was the part of their Russian collusion. I believe the analogy is more like coming in as I was coming into today on the plane. We're in the final approach. It's time to land the plane. It's time to decide what you found, take what you've done, and land the plane and report to the American people. If you don't have anything, report you don't have anything.
But what if the Mueller probe proves nothing, the president is exonerated, and then you have been, or some of your colleagues have been busy, disputing the way it was gathered? Then you're in a pickle.
Well, I think at the end of the day right now, you're not going to see any collusion. I think that we've not seen any of that anyway. We found a lot of fraud. We found a lot of bank problems. We found a lot of lying.
Alleged bias and everything. It might be a moot point. Forget the bias. There was no there.
But you do need to go back, because if this happened in the way it happened, and you had a Mueller investigation come to this, if you had this kind of false reporting, if you would, from the department, it is worth investigating.
If it's a favorable report in the end, Congressman, you guys maintain control of the House, that might be in doubt. Would you still pursue this?
Yes, because it's a functional issue here. When you look at what we're having to do at the Department of Justice, you want to make sure that you have integrity at those levels. And because it ended up the way it should end up, and that there's no collusion found and it goes forward, that's a good thing. But it still doesn't mean that there's not rotten in the process going forward.
All right. Think you hang on to the House?
I think so.
All right, we'll see.
Right.
Want to take a bet or anything? No.
We're ready.
Right. Hey. Congressman, very, very good seeing you.